Hello, everyone, on this Thursday edition of Palmetto Sports Daily, or would you rather call this Friday Eve? Jill? Friday Eve or Thursday?
I like Friday Eve. I like
Kevin?
Friday Eve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friday Eve.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday Eve. This is talking season for football, SEC Media Days, wrapping up today in Tampa. I was there on Tuesday for the Gamecocks, and everywhere they went, like at SEC Media Days, there are like 12 different rooms that the coach and the three players they bring, they make the circuits, and then there are also other interviews, like we get to get Shane Beamer and the three players in a gaggle before they start making the rounds. And I'm certain every room, every interview, people were asking them about the offense because the offense really struggled last year. But hey, here's the guy, Shane Beamer, hired to fix it. Kendall Browse, this is going to be his first season as the offensive coordinator. So let's listen to Shane and quarterback Lenore Sellers talking about how things are going under the new OC.
He's got a proven track record as a coordinator, and it's a big reason why I hired him, and eager to see that continue.
Is he a guy that likes to roll the dice on fourth down a lot?
He's not going to be making those decisions. I mean, that's what I get paid for. So I would think, any offensive coordinator, Phil, doesn't want to punt. He wants to go for it, certainly, but I want him to be aggressive. I mean, that's how we're going to play on offense, defense, and special teams.
Just all the new stuff that we bringing in, that we're doing, just like I said, it's fun. New system, new coaches, a lot of excitement.
Yeah, I like Shane's response there. Hey, he's going to be making that decision on whether or not to go for it on fourth down. Kevin, it reminds me of something Danny Ford said when he was coaching. People used to get on him because he wasn't wearing a headset on the sideline. He said, hey, that's okay, but if they're going to do something crazy or unexpected, they better run it by me first. So, Kevin, what do you want to see from this Carolina offense under their new offensive coordinator?
Well, I think the first thing you want to see is they've got to establish a running game. It was the biggest problem they had last year, where there was, the running backs not being good enough for the offensive line, not giving them the space to have holes to run through. I mean, if you have that, that's going to open up everything else for Lenore Sellers. It's going to give him time to throw. It's going to give the receivers a chance to get open a little bit more. So a running game is where this has to start. I know Bryles is more of an air and out guy, but to have any kind of success, they're going to have to start simple, start with the run game. And whether it's the running backs or it's just Lenore Sellers himself and giving him an opportunity to get out in open space and move the ball a little bit, it's something they've got to do, is establish on the ground, Jill.
I agree. And also talking about, not to state the obvious, but a new OC, but then you have Lenore Sellers, it's not common nowadays to have a QB that is sticking around with the same program for so long. So it's nice to have someone who's been working with this offense for a while and might be able to kind of work and just give a little bit of his own insight to generate maybe some more opportunities on the run, like you mentioned. I think that will be great as well. I also liked what head coach Shane Beamer mentioned, that he's going to be making those calls on the fourth down, but he also is expecting him to be aggressive with those play calls. So I think it's going to be very interesting come their first game. And I believe, September 5th? But it will be interesting to see what type of plays that they're kind of going with, whether they're trying to force a little bit more on the run or try to put the ball in the air. Rick?
Yeah, so everybody will be closely watching that offense on September 5th. Will they be able to get their plays off in time without having to call a timeout? And what adjustments will they make? And since we're talking offense, how about an update on the health of former Gamecock quarterback Stephen Garcia? He was also at SEC Media Days. As a matter of fact, Shane Beamer was an assistant for a good bit of the time that Stephen Garcia was here. He was an assistant at USC, and Stephen Garcia is a Tampa resident, and Beamer invited Stephen to come by SEC Media Days and see him. And I had an opportunity to do a one-on-one interview with Stephen, and here he is giving us an update on his battle with colon cancer, and he also has an opinion on how the Gamecocks may fare this fall. Listen. Just give us an update on how you're doing right now.
Doing well, thank God. I just got my 6th round of chemo. I did it last week. I got a call from the surgeon on Friday. He said 2 lesions on the liver. One of them, he can't even see it anymore. The other one has shrunk by more than 50% and is calloused on the outside. So we're going to proceed and do radiation next week for a week long, and then wait 6 weeks, and then get the surgery and get it out. So everything's better than expected, and I'm super excited about it. I'm ready for this ride to be over.
How tough has the treatment been on you?
Surprisingly not bad. Other than my hair, the top of my head kind of falling out a little bit, but there's been probably 4 or 5 days where my stomach's just been churning. But for the most part, 99 percentile, I'm out there running around feeling good, so can't complain too much.
Are you still doing your quarterback coaching?
Absolutely. Had a workout this morning, so I'm running a little bit late today, but I think staying active and staying positive and just keeping my mind off of it has been, tremendous.
You're here at SEC Media Days, and does this also kind of whet your appetite for the start of football season?
Absolutely. I mean, I can feel the buzz in the air. I'm so glad they did SEC Media Days in Tampa. I mean, no better place on earth than right here, No offense to anybody in Columbia. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait for the season. Just getting a chance to talk with Coach Beamer. I'm looking forward to seeing Lenoris and the other guys. I know they're ready to do it. I've been through the summer grind, and it's not very fun. I know these guys are ready to hit somebody else, so I'm super excited about it.
And you've got a big event coming up to help bring awareness to colon cancer.
Yep. So August 21st down here in Tampa. The guy that's running it, shout out to Mike Kidd. He's a Gamecock alumni. He's the GM of the hotel down there in off 54. So he's kind of putting this whole thing together, and I'm truly blessed to have so many people that have reached out and said they're going to come, they're going to support in some way, shape or form. Coach Burry's going to come talk. Coach Gruden's going to come speak. So it's going to be an interesting group of people, and I'm super excited about it. And the main thing is just raising awareness and trying to get people to literally quarterback their health. And the main thing that I want to do throughout this whole journey, and why I'm being so outspoken about it, is just to make chicken salad out of chicken, what. And there's a silver lining in everything, and if it can help save somebody, then I feel like it was worth it.
I know you spoke with Coach Beamer a few minutes ago. What did that mean to you?
It's honestly unbelievable. It's truly is a brotherhood, and I feel like that's kind of lost in the era of the transfer portal and the NIL. Guys jumping ship every other season. So the fact that we were able to have that locker room, a tight knit locker room, from day one, and it's still he still has the same number and still texts me all the time. I mean, you don't really see that very often anymore. So the fact that he's come out here, he's like, hey, I'm in Tampa. I'd love to see you, love to get you around the guys. I mean, that means the world to me.
And finally, give me your prediction for the Gamecocks this fall.
I love where we're at. Nobody's talking about us like they did last year. So I think flying under the radar is where we like to be, and we're going to sneak up on some people. I have no doubt about it. Getting to that Alabama game, that's going to be a huge test for us. I think we come out of that one, our season's going to be, we got a legit shot at the playoff run. So I know Coach Beamer's got these guys fired up. I know Lenoris is fired up, talking with him every now and then. So yeah, I'm excited about the season. I think we're right where we need to be.
All right, you heard it from Stephen Garcia. He thinks the Gamecocks will have a shot at making a run at being one of those playoff teams. And you have to admire, respect, and be inspired by the way Stephen is handling his fight with colon cancer. He's remaining positive, has a good outlook, and also he's helping others by he's got this fundraiser and bringing a lot of awareness to it. And it also did him good to be down in Tampa, seeing a lot of people involved with football, and also giving him a lot of love and messages of inspiration. Jill?
That's one of the things I was going to say. I'm sure it was very nice for him to be at SEC Media Day. It's good to spread awareness, but sometimes it can be almost taxing to just talk about that so often. So to just talk about football, get it off your mind a little bit, I'm sure that was great for him, while also being able to spread awareness at the same time. And I'm sure he's going to be rooting for the Gamecocks no matter where he's at. But yeah, just being there and seeing all those like coaches, players, teams, just SEC Media Day as a whole, I'm sure was great for him. Kevin?
Yeah, I'm sure I know for a fact, talking has never been an issue for Stephen Garcia. So just getting the opportunity to talk about football and talk about this fight he's had. And it was so good to see him, pop up everywhere over the course of SEC Media Day and see how he's still fighting. And he's really putting it to this disease so far. And it's just great to see that, he's coming through this pretty well so far, Rick.
Yeah, he certainly is. And he's one of my all-time favorite Gamecocks, and hoping and praying for the best outcome for number 5, Stephen Garcia. That's going to wrap up the opening segment of Palmetto Sports Daily. We'll take a timeout, and we'll be right back with much more on this Friday Eve.
Welcome back to today's Friday Eve of Palmetto Sports Daily. SEC Media Days continuing today. It is the final day, and Ole Miss talking today. And it's one of the biggest talking points, if you will, is the whole tampering question around Clemson and Ole Miss. Did Pete Golding and their coaching staff contact Luke Ferrelli in terms of while he was enrolled at Clemson? And today the media spoke with him about those questions, and it kind of seemed as if there was a lot of dancing around the topic, if you will, no really direct answers in regarding to the tampering. Our Carmine Jermaine was able to speak with them today at SEC Media Day. Here's what Ole Miss had to say.
Back in January, Tigers head coach Dabo Swinney took 20 minutes to publicly present a tampering timeline, announcing Clemson had opened an NCAA investigation accusing Ole Miss head coach Pete Golding of recruiting and offering linebacker Luke Ferrelli while he was still a member of the Clemson football team, which, if proven true, would be the definition of tampering with a Tigers top transfer player. Dabo also said Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss called Ferrelli personally to recruit him to Ole Miss while Ferrelli was still at Clemson.
Hey Trinidad, when you saw the news of Clemson coach Dabo Swinney accusing Ole Miss of tampering, what was your reaction?
My reaction, really didn't know what was going on, honestly. That's above my head, to be honest, and, really wasn't focused on that, to be honest.
After my question to Trinidad, we noticed an Ole Miss staff member appear to take a photo of me. Then when the Ole Miss coach took the podium, it didn't seem to be coincidence I was passed up to ask my questions the entire 20-minute press conference, which would have included asking Golding if he had really texted Ferrelli a photo of a $1 million contract offer while Ferrelli was sitting in class at Clemson, like Dabo said. But Golding did hint at the Ferrelli fiasco after being asked how he would fix tampering and the transfer portal.
We have a portal that you can go in with a do not contact. I'm going to quit my job where I'm getting paid, and I'm going to go in saying I need a new job, but nobody can call me to interview. The model obviously has been broken.
Explaining his recruiting philosophy: if you can't beat them, join them.
Just like when you're on the interstate and people are flying by you, what do you start doing? You're damn right you're going to get hit, right? Does that make sense? In this profession, you're going to get fired, right?
According to ESPN, the NCAA requested forensic imaging of Ferrelli, Golding, and 5 other Ole Miss football staff members' cell phones to check the records from the tampering timeline of Dabo's accusations, saying the NCAA's investigation is still in its early stages, which was evident when we asked Dabo for an update at last week's ACC kickoff in Charlotte.
No, they don't owe me an update. I don't have an update. I did my part. No idea. Just call it like it is, the Wild Wild West.
And Clemson football general manager Jordan Sorrells told me he's not surprised with the slow pace of this investigation and no punishments so far.
Is it as fast as we would have probably all liked? No. But it is what it is. To be honest with you, we've kind of moved past that, and we're focused on this team and this roster and the guys that are here.
We'll keep you updated as we continue to learn more about the player who was the Tigers' top transfer on air and online. For now, reporting in Tampa for Palmetto Sports, I'm Carmine Jermaine.
Yeah, so after today, there still doesn't seem to be much updates in terms of the tampering. It just seems like a lot of metaphors and hypotheticals, if you will, a lot of dancing around really a yes or no question that he wasn't even allowed to be asked. Then you have Trinidad being asked as well, and I think he did a great job answering the question. There's not much he can do or say within the situation, but I'm curious your guys' thoughts in terms of how Pete Golding addressed the situation without Carmine being able to ask that question.
Yeah, well, of course, the Ole Miss guys, they were coached up on what to say and what not to say. And, hey, they carried it out to the fullest. And I don't know if this thing will ever be settled. I think pretty much that door is closed, and we just have to move on, play this season, and see if they can put some rules in place that will prevent this from happening again. But right now, I think it's too late.
Look, I think the important thing is here that we don't want to jump to conclusions. Just because the Ole Miss officials were taking pictures of Carmine, maybe they just wanted to show Coach Golding, this is the guy that invented the egg dog. And, Coach just wanted to have some physical evidence of that. So there's nothing we can rule out at this point. I think it's irresponsible of us to jump to those conclusions that they just didn't want Carmine to ask a question. But in all seriousness, I mean, this is a joke. I mean, obviously they avoided Carmine because they knew the question he was going to ask, and they shouldn't have done that. And, if Golding had any kind of guts, he would have stood up there and answered this question and taken care of business. But, he wants to play around and play jumping jacks or play hopscotch with the rules or whatever, and he wants to avoid talking about this as much as he can, and I understand that. We got more to talk about here on Palmetto Sports Daily coming up right after this. Welcome back into Palmetto Sports Daily. We move over to the NFL, where the good news is the Carolina Panthers back on the field today, first day of training camp, as Carolina gets ready for the Hall of Fame game in just a couple of weeks, which is, up in Canton, Ohio. Huge opportunity for them to be the first preseason game of the season. The bad news is it feels like the injury bug is already hitting Carolina because they are without their top two offensive tackles. Both of those guys were out before practice even started today. And then today, one of their top linebackers, Nic Scourton, carted off the field with a knee injury. There's no update as of yet on how bad that injury is, but getting carted off the field, there is really nothing good about that. Head coach Dave Canales talking about the injury after today's practice.
They care about each other. This is whenever you're in a group of people doing something hard together. It's has a way of creating a special bond. And between all the workouts and going through a full season and an off season and all that, it means something to the guys. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that the first thought in guys' minds isn't are we going to have Nick for the season? It's how is Nick doing? And guys are checking on him. And so again, as we have more information, we'll let you know what that is.
So, Rick, like I said, just a tough way to start all the way around. Like I said, both starting tackles out. Now one of your starting linebackers is out. Is this a foreshadowing of what's going to be just a disastrous season, or is it just a blip on the radar early on?
Well, you hope not, especially the way the Panthers got things going in the right direction last year, making the playoffs. And you hope that Scourton, that this is not something that's going to keep him out for a long time or maybe be a season over type injury, but he'll be out for a little while and can rejoin the team quickly. If it's something where he's out for a long time, then you start going, oh no, what an awful way to start preseason camp. So we'll just wait and see how long he'll have to be on the sidelines. Jill?
I agree, Rick. You're talking about a guy who last year was his rookie season, who played in all 17 games, close to, I believe it was 47 tackles on the season. So this is a big loss. Anytime you have some type of tackle, pass rusher that you can rely on being consistent, if this does become a long-term injury, this is a major, major loss. But on the bright side of things, this happened at the beginning of training camp, and hopefully it will have some time to subside. So hopefully this isn't a long-term thing, and this can be resolved as quickly as possible. It's never good to see someone carted off the field, though. Kevin?
Absolutely. Now back over to college football. The SoCon holding their media day earlier this week back on Tuesday, and that included getting to hear from the Citadel. The Bulldogs picked to finish 9th out of 10 teams in the SoCon preseason poll, but they did have 3 players on the preseason all-conference team, and that included first-team quarterback Quentin Hayes, who you see right here. Maurice Drayton talked about how he's trying to build this program into be a consistent winner.
Yeah, this team is going to be tough. It's going to be disciplined, and we have a connection. So we relied back to our NFL days truth of the matter is, when I was in the National Football League, you always had your star player, but the rest of the roster was different every year. So leaning back into those time frames when we were able to connect human beings, to get people together, that's what we're doing right now. I really like the connection with this team.
We plan on building.
Furman and Wofford, of course, also in the SoCon, picked to finish 6th and 7th, respectively, in that preseason SoCon poll. We'll hear more from the Terriers and the Paladins coming up later this week. We'll be right back to wrap up this edition of Palmetto Sports Daily, coming up right after this. Welcome back into Palmetto Sports Daily. We'll talk some college basketball before we go. Teams in the middle of their summer workouts, and last night the Citadel holding an open practice over at McAllister Fieldhouse here in the Low Country. Not a lot kind of caught our eye, but one thing did kind of catch everyone's eye, and that was the release of their roster, which included Ramel Bethea, who is now the oldest player in all of Division I basketball coming up this year. Bethea going to turn 30 years old next year as he enters his junior season of college basketball. Now, Bethea graduated high school in 2014, took a few years off after that. He was working independently on his own, then entered the Navy for 5 years. It wasn't until he got into the Navy that he started playing basketball. Never even played basketball when he was in high school, but he's made his journey all the way. He went to Green Bay last year, now at the Citadel this year. Here's what he had to say last night.
Off the court is different, but when we get on the court, we all athletes, you know what I mean? So it's just maintaining my body to keep up with these guys. And like I said, I'm new to basketball, so they've been doing it way longer than me. So it's like, the older dude usually teaches the younger guys. They're teaching me, you know what I mean? So other than the discipline I got from the military and the life lessons I got from just being an older person, on the basketball court, they teach me a lot.
Really cool guy. It's different to see a guy who's married and has a 5-year-old kid as opposed to the rest of the cadets still kind of trying to get their way through college. But we'll hear more from him coming up later on in this season. That's going to do it for Palmetto Sports Daily. We'll see you back here tomorrow.